What do you think of the 999 plan and what can be improved on it? I think the 999 plan is a bad plan. Okay? I think it's a bad plan for several reasons. Number one, it gives the federal government a brand new way to take your money. We now will have a national sales tax, in addition to an income tax, in addition to a corporate income tax. The last thing we need to do is give the federal government the ability to take more of your money in a different way. I could be wrong about this. I could be dead wrong. I can't imagine a single Republican in the House or Senate voting for this. Who would want, I mean, why would you want to do this? How many people think that the 9% income tax will stay at 9%? Raise your hand. How many, I mean, the minute it passes, if it passed, I don't think it has any chance of passing. But the minute it would pass, the first thing would be, oh, it's not fair for such and such to only pay 9%. And by the way, and I haven't looked at the details, does he have an exemption or anything, or a deduction, or I haven't heard it. I mean, I haven't heard any details of this plan. But let's assume it's just a flat tax. So you're going from people, half of America pays no federal income tax. None. Now you're going to have half of America that pays no federal income tax, now paying a 9% sales tax and a 9% income tax. So on half of America, you're going to give an 18% tax increase. Okay? How popular is that going to be with half of America? Raise your hand. It's just, I mean, it sounds cute. It's great. It's simple. I sort of little jab at him yesterday at the Value Voter Summit. I said, I have a 0-0-0 plan. Right? All right? My 0-0-0 plan, because in taxes, 0 is better than 9. Right? But my and this is a plan I've had for a while. And I was, again, just poking fun, but it's a 0% tax on the thing that we need more of in this country. The thing that is the most important aspect, I believe, in turning our country around, number one, economically, but number two, a legitimate concern that the left expresses that we ignore in our peril because people feel it. They don't, I'm not sure they can quantify it. I'll quantify it. Is that people who don't have college degrees or have a harder time finding jobs that are family-sustaining jobs, right? They need to have more than one job to get the benefits and the pay. They need to stay in the middle of America. Why is that? I'll give you my 2 cents. Manufacturing jobs have gone, right? Those were those middle-income jobs that provided the bulk. And here's the quantification of it. There was a study done recently over the last 10 years looking at Europe and mobility up and down what they call income quintiles. Break it up into 5 sections. You know, bottom 20%, 40%, 60%, 80% quintiles. And they found that there is more income mobility in Western Europe today than there is in America. Not from the bottom to the top, but from in this middle range. So there is a quantifiable problem. How do we fix that? Well, we go out and get those damn manufacturing jobs back to America, right? What will encourage manufacturers to bring back their jobs? Well, let me just go through it. 0% tax, corporate tax on all manufacturing and processors in America. You make things here, you pay no corporate taxes. All right? We go from 35 to zip. We've now made it very, very profitable to be here. We've compensated for some of the other costs that America brings. What's the second thing we can do? What's the other big burden on manufacturing? Regulations. I have said that as president, the first thing I will do is I will repeal every Obama regulation that costs business more than $100 million. Now, some will have to be replaced, some we can get rid of completely, some may have to be replaced, but we'll replace them with common sense regulations that work with business instead of punish business. 3, what's another thing that will bring manufacturing back? No, not unions, because private sector unions are tiny. What's the big energy costs? Manufacturers are big users of energy. So they have to have stable and reliable energy in this country. What does that mean? Mine coal, right? Because 56%, over 50% of the base load capacity for this country is coal, and the administration is not issuing permits and is shutting down coal-fired power plants right now. So renew those plants, make sure that they're operating safely and as cleanly as possible. Allow people to mine for coal. Think of the job creation just of that. And drill for gas, drill for oil. One area that I will focus on is ANWR. Okay? It is outrageous that we are not drilling up in ANWR for two reasons. Number one, the Alaska pipeline. Anybody read anything recently on the Alaska pipeline? It's not leaking. Well, it may be leaking. It's running out of oil. And that's a problem. Why? The big problem is, and I didn't know this, but it's true. You have the pipeline that's pumping oil from Prudhoe Bay and the North Slope down to lower Alaska. It has to have sufficient flow. Why? Well, what's the temperature up there in Alaska? So what do they do before they put the oil into the pipeline? They heat it. And if there isn't enough flow, guess what happens by the time it gets farther away from that heat? It cools and it stops flowing. It congeals. And all of a sudden we have no more pipeline. Okay? So this is a serious problem. We need more flow, and you can't get it from the existing field because it's pretty much, I won't say tapped out, but they're not going to get more production out of it. We need new fields, which is ANWR. So that's number one. Number two is that this environmental argument for ANWR is a joke. How many of you seen pictures of ANWR? All of you? All right, let me ask you, for those of you who didn't raise your hand, what does ANWR look like? Now, you raised your hand when you said that. You're not supposed to, you got to play by the game here, okay? It's a tundra. It's not mountainous beautifuls with eagles flying around and polar bears eating fish. That's not the tundra, okay? It's an Arctic plain. You guys know what plains are, right? Right? So, and it is frozen over 10 months out of the year, all right? How much environmental disruption will the roads be to building these sites? Anybody know? Zero. Why? Because they're not building any roads. Well, wait a minute. How do you get the equipment there to drill? Ice roads. Because it's frozen over, they wait till it's cold, they build ice roads on top of the tundra, ship all the stuff in, drill. By the time the spring comes, they move it out. Absolutely no remaining anything in that. It's like it didn't exist, and yet they still oppose it. So we're going to go out and be the teacher-in-chief, and we're going to tell the American public, Bush couldn't do it because he was an oil guy. I can do it. I'm a coal guy. My grandfather was a coal guy. So I can go and talk about oil, and I will, and we will get ANWR passed, and we will have more energy independence in this country.